All right. It says we are live. Yeah. Hop back over here. All right. I think we got 30 seconds. So feel free. Hopefully you guys can, my personal page. You can share from there. Hey, Dr. Cherie. All right. And without further ado, I'm going to go ahead and start. Hello, 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 everyone. Welcome to Sherry's World Presents Becoming the Shero. We're so glad you can join us today. And as you can see, I have a beautiful panel of ladies here who are going to talk about our book that launches on tomorrow. We're so excited, so excited. And you're going to hear more about how it came together, how you can help us promote the book, and how you can get your copy, and so many other great things. Be prepared to be inspired and be prepared to help us become the next best-selling book on the market. Yeah. So before we get started, actually, we're going to get started, but before we get to all of that, I want to introduce our wonderful project coordinator, Dr. Anissa Short. She is responsible for bringing all of us together, and I want you to hear from this phenomenal woman. We met years ago. I won't say how many. And she is a phenomenal Mary Kay director. She has her own businesses as well as the Work at Home CEO. She helps people who want to work from home get started on the right track. She does so many things, but I'm not going to give it all away. I want her to talk about it. So without further ado, Dr. Anissa Short.
Hey, Sherry, thanks so very much, girl, for this opportunity. I am so excited. I couldn't wait. I was like, okay, I got my alarm set for like right at 8 o'clock. Then I had hit set again for like 8:07, so that when it goes off at 8 o'clock, it'll go off at 8:07. So thank you for using your platform to give all of us a voice and an opportunity to be on here to talk about this book that we are OMG super excited about. We kick off the pre-sales tomorrow. And while I am the coordinator of the project, I'm not the person that made it happen. Each and every person is a very intricate part. We're all a piece of the puzzle. So everybody brought their piece together to create this beautiful masterpiece that we call the book, Becoming the Shero. So if it's okay with you, I would love for everybody to introduce themselves, to say, give their name and give where they're from. So everybody who's watching or viewing, whether watching live or the replay, will know that we're not just from one demographic location. We're from a little bit of everywhere throughout the United States. So if that's okay with you, my name again is Anissa. I'm in the state of North Carolina, and I am the coordinator of the project. I'm just kind of pulling all the reins to keep all the pieces together and kept it flowing. And I'm excited about what we've created together. So I don't know who wants to go next.
Well, go ahead, Kim. I call him out.
Well, good afternoon, good evening, depending on where you are. My name is Minister Kim Myers, and I reign all the way from Oregon, Hillsboro, Oregon, and I am so excited to be a part of this Shero anthology. Yes.
All right, Jelana.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jelana Walker Herman. I am born and raised from good old Fayetteville, North Carolina, and I reside in the U.S. Virgin Islands, St. Thomas.
All right, Michelle.
Hello, my name is Michelle Van, and I am from Wichita, Kansas. So I'm in the middle of the United States. It is cold here.
All right, Manshali.
Hi, I'm Munshiley. I'm from Fayetteville, North Carolina, born and raised as well, and I'm excited.
Dr. Cherie.
My name is Cherie Dupree, and I live in Fayetteville, North Carolina. Glad to be here.
All right. And of course, I'm Cherie here in Nashville, Tennessee. And so happy to be here. I almost said I was going to do, my name is Cherie. And oh no, I'm just kidding.
We want to jump right in with you.
Right. All right. We're so glad to be here. Right now, I am coming from beautiful Pensacola Beach, Florida. So please forgive the bed in the back, but I love this surfboard. Oh, I sound like Beyonce. Surfboard. No, I'm just kidding. this beautiful surfboard to my left. I have no sense. Well, I have good sense, but no sense anyway. So again, I'm just so happy that we were able to come together. If you guys are seeing this stream, please share with other people. We want more and more people to hear about this phenomenal project. We call it the Anthology, and the name of the book is Becoming the Shero. So Anissa, got a couple of questions for you. Look, I'm gonna try to be a good host. But maybe I get a interview for the talk later. No, just kidding. But again, really, I really appreciate you joining us today. So one of my first questions was, I know you kind of introduced yourself, but really tell us a little about yourself and your businesses.
Okay, so I'm an entrepreneur for 21 years, actually. For 21 years, really longer, because before I started doing, I've always had my hands in something. It was just a minute till I found the right niche. I've been in direct sales for almost 21 years, and I'm very passionate about seeing women succeed, building a successful business from their home. And so I consider myself an advocate for a home-based entrepreneurship. And I realize everybody's not going to do direct sales, and that's totally okay if that's what they choose. I don't know why they wouldn't, but nevertheless, some people don't. But it's really about being passionate about what you do, and women can build successful businesses from home. Many don't know the home-based industry is a $40 billion industry, $40 billion. And it's been said that over 80% of the women who pay themselves six-figure salaries are doing it because they're doing it from home. So for those who shun working from home, it's just because they don't know any better, bless their hearts. And so while I am very much excited about the direct sales company that I'm associated with, I am also excited about just seeing women succeed. So projects like Becoming the Shero and one or two of the other books that I've done and some of the other things that I participate in, it all centers around seeing women, not, I mean, men too, but just women, I'm called to women, succeed in their chosen vehicle as they build whatever they choose to build from home. So that's pretty much what I do in a nutshell. So this book is just one part of who I am and what I do.
I love it. I love it. So what would you say was the inspiration for this project?
I have no idea. It must be God, because I say that it was in February. My birthday is in February. And in February, the anthology project came to mind. And I want to say it may have been 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. And I wrote it on a steno pad. I wish I had kept the note, but I wrote down the words Becoming the Shero. And then I went back to sleep. And I knew that was the title of the book. So then it was just a matter of what message did I want the book to convey. And so I looked up the word Shero to see what it meant. And immediately I thought about the fictional character Wonder Woman that came to mind. Superman, all that kind of thing came to mind. But then when I looked up the word, I thought everybody's a Shero in some capacity. We may not always see ourselves in that light, but other people see us in that light. And a lot of times people don't truly grasp the magnitude of the impact that they make in the lives of other people, because we're just busy going through life, and other people on the outside looking in think we're just phenomenal.
Right.
They think we're that Wonder Woman. They wonder how in the world do we use our lassos to make people tell the truth. We don't see ourselves as a superpower, so to say, for the lack of a better word. So I wanted women to just share their stories, to be transparent, to offer advice, to be encouraging. And so the book is doing just that. The book is going to do just that to women of all ages, from all walks of life. We're going to be able to see that we're much more alike than we are different, and that everybody's story is significant and it plays a vital role in the success of someone else. We just have to we just have to tell the story. And so that's what the book does.
I love that. And I want to piggyback on what you said. A lot of times we've been forced into those roles, to be the strong woman. I think that's how we've gotten that reputation, the strong Black woman, or not even just Black women, but of course, Black women, but you know what I mean? Just women in general. We're called upon in our roles as the mother, as the wife, we take care of things in the home. And as we started working outside of the home, we had to carry all those responsibilities, and especially when people begin to realize we're good organizers, because we have to coordinate so many pieces.
Yeah, one of our superpowers as women is we can multitask. We can do that. We have that, and our counterpart didn't stand in that line. We can do that very well. However, you think about the times maybe in conversations you may have verbalized it, or we may have verbalized it ourselves, when we see someone else will go, man, she's been through so much. I don't know how she does it. And then when you sit down and you have the conversation with her, she says, I did it because I had to do it. We wonder where we get I don't know if I could ever do that. And we don't know how much we can do until we're forced to do it, or life happens and we find ourselves in that predicament. And a lot of times we have placed so much focus on the stress or the challenge itself as it pertains to us. We don't see how our actually going through and making it out of that challenge or making it out of that circumstance is inspirational to other people. So so now they can say, wow, if she made it through, and if she's dealt with that and she doesn't look like what she's been through, then maybe I can get through what I'm dealing with. But if they won't know unless we tell the story.
That's true. And I think that's also how we end up with our mentors, because we've heard their story. Like, oh my God, how was she able to do that? And I reflect on, the scripture, which, I think we're all women of faith here. He won't put more on you than you can bear. But sometimes I would want to ask God, are you sure?
Yeah.
I really don't feel like shouldering this particular load. Are you sure you didn't get me mixed up with somebody else? No, I was kidding. But that's how you end up feeling sometimes.
Right.
So before I get to some of the other ladies, I just had a couple other questions. And that was, have you participated in something like this before? Like bringing a lot of women together?
I participated in the very first book that I was ever a part of became an Amazon bestseller, and it was an anthology. And now I back up a minute. The lady who invited me to be a part of that anthology had previously invited me to be a part of an anthology probably 2 years prior. And the name of that book was From Employee to Entrepreneur. That was the name of the book. And I knew that I probably could write a chapter because that would be my story, right? But I said no to the opportunity. I said, no, I'm just gonna pass because I don't think I have enough time. And I just don't know. You know how we throw all this stuff into the wash, right? And it became a bestseller. It became an international bestseller. That book did. And I sat there and I went, congratulations. I mean, I was happy for them, but at the same time, I was saying, you could have been a part of that book. So when 2 years or so passed by, she contacted me and she said, I want you to be a part of another book that I'm hosting, another anthology. It's called As for Me in My House. It focused with entrepreneurs on how we overcame sometimes the rejection or maybe the lack of support, but within our immediate circle when it came to entrepreneurship. And I had said, if she ever asked me again, I would say yes. Right? Makes sense, right? But in the process of her asking me this, I was writing my own first book, a resource guide on how to represent in the marketplace for home-based business owners. So I didn't think I have time again because I'm busy working on my own project. But this time I went to my publishing mentor, Lady Norma, and I told her about the opportunity. And I said, well, listen, here's the problem. She wants this book to launch in December, and I'm trying to get mine done. And I don't know if I could focus on both of them at the same time. And so I just knew she was going to say, yeah, you got too much on your plate. But what she said to me was, put your project down and work on this one. And I was like, are you serious? I'm almost done, So she said, yes. She said, I said, okay, well, I trusted her. I said, because if I asked her to be my mentor, I'll be accountable to her. She's the publisher, she should know. And so what ended up happening is that book became an international bestseller. So when I came back and said, the book is an international bestseller, what does that mean? So it went bestseller in Canada as well as in the United States. And so she said, Anissa, the reason I said for you to do what you did, then you followed the instruction, is because from now on, every book you write, you can refer to yourself as a best-selling author. Had you gone on with your book first, because I hadn't planned on going, I was just going to get the book published and printed. She said, so from now on, she says, now go back and finish your book, get the cover redone, and make sure you put the inscription on there, bestseller. And she said, so from now on, because this has happened for you, you can use that title from here on out. So I wrote my book. It debuted, that was December. My book came out in February. I got the idea for this anthology. And then another lady reached out to me and asked if I would participate in a devotional anthology for women. So I wrote a devotional page for that one. And that became a bestseller as well. So yeah.
Well, go ahead now. So, yeah,
I was just like, and all of this happened within a certain window of time. I mean, a short window of time. But I just believe that when you're in the right place and you're connected to the right person, things fall into place as long as you obey.
Absolutely. Yeah. Absolutely. Ooh, that's a whole sermon.
That's a whole other topic. Yeah, we'll say that one.
Well, I would like to kind of talk to some of the other ladies who are participating. So again, I'm going. I feel like I'm on. What was that? Secret Square? No, I feel like. So I'm gonna go with Kim first. So, what made you become part of the project?
Well, Anissa gave me a call and she talked to me about it, but it was so ironic that the day that she called, I was like, OMG, because I've had some encounters with wanting to tell some stories of my life, but I never got that connection. The connection was never there. People told me how they wrote their books, and then some people wouldn't tell you how they wrote their books, and they wouldn't share their resources, and just all
Right.
of those things that made you say, well, not right now, not right now. And then Anissa and I are connected. We have some mutual friends, and I was talking with a mutual friend, and she was telling me, how she was connected. And then so happened to be, I knew it was God because that day Anissa called, we had spoken about an anthology. Now, don't get me wrong, I didn't even know what the word meant. Okay, I had not, thank God for Google. Okay, I had to go and Google it, and if it's the most popular thing, it's gonna come up. So thank God for me, it came up, and so I was like, yeah, I want to be a part of this. Had no idea what it was about. Anissa is a great coordinator. She walked us through it, explained it to us, and I am so happy today. And like Anissa, starting hers, in the process of starting mine. Okay, so it just keeps going and going and going. So I am so delighted. What I say now is I got a whole lot of appetizers on my plate now. One day I'm gonna be able to serve the main meal.
I like that. I like that. What about you, Jelana? How did you get involved?
Well, Miss Anissa, she, the common denominator here.
Right.
But I didn't realize, when I saw her post, I actually saw the post on Facebook. And during that time, the behind the scenes, I was actually speaking to God about certain things. And one of the revelations that he was giving me is that stop being on the sidelines and be looking upon on the sidelines, those Facebook viewers that always just scrolling through, right? And like really be part of it, and really, because we all have something to share. And I've been really convicted about, like, I'm not really showing love if I have overcome something, and how do I give God glory for that, right? And so when she posted that, I like literally jumped on it. I was like, oh yes, okay, I want to be a part. What do I need to do? Because I just knew for a fact this was a way for me to continue to get out there again with the books. And I trusted Anissa. And so that's how it really got started.
I think you're definitely right. I think we're going to hear that same common denominator from everybody. Okay, so for me, I have Manshali next, and then Michelle.
So I remember the day that Anissa's book, As For Me and My House, was printed, and I remember her, signing and autographing. And I remember her asking me when that came out, do you want to jump in? And I'm thinking, I can't do this. I don't have the funds, the time, I don't even know where to start. And I said, but I want to do this. I've been wanting to write a book for years. And when she sent that invite for Becoming with Shero, I just saw the title and I about flipped out. I was like, oh my gosh, this is me. This is me. I don't know how I'm gonna do it, but I'm gonna do it. And I just thank God that she even offered it, because I don't think the opportunity would have come as quickly as it did had she not been obedient and just said, here, let me share that information. So that's how I got plugged in.
Okay. And Michelle?
I would say kind of the same thing. I appreciate that Anissa was not selfish in holding on to it, because God had given her a vision and an insight, but she wasn't selfish in holding that. And so, when I saw it online, I had done another anthology project, and for whatever reason, it was held up and it didn't go out when it was supposed to. And so when I saw this opportunity, I was like, okay, well, this is great. I can do this. And I understand how it works, and this will be great. And it, God has a interesting sense of humor, because both books will come out this week at the exact same time. Um, but I just think it's interesting how when we truly do hear the Holy Spirit, when we truly hear God, He will lead us. And I believe that we have made some sisters that we would have never made any other way. We have got to learn things about each other, and I believe that there's way more for us to learn about each other, and how we can bless each other, and how we can be resources for each other. And it's just been a great sisterhood. And so I think for me, it has been really showing us in this year of 2020, when we've seen women do some phenomenal things that we've never seen before, and we'll just leave it at that. That it's been a powerful, powerful sisterhood. That's been the best thing for me.
I love it. I love it. And Dr. Cherie?
Yes. Again, the common thread, but I also, like Jelana, I saw the Facebook post that Anissa posted, and she asked, and she was like, I think she at that point had maybe like 4 or 5 more spaces left. And I was like, I keep seeing this post. I want to join, and then I was at the stage in my life where I just really needed to get away from doing individual stuff, because I've been so, self-centered and focused on my own things, that I really needed to branch out and reach and be a part of something else. And so this was an opportunity to do that.
Sounds great. And just like you guys, same thing. When Anissa contacted me, I was like, you sure? I don't know I said, I've thought about maybe writing something, in the future. Not that I have too many more years in my future. I don't know. I'm getting close to the promise years that they talk about in the Bible. But the more we talked, I think, what was about an hour we talked?
Yes, because you had lots of questions. I was like, it's not Cherie, really? Are we really having all these questions? You either gonna do it or you're not. Now I can say that to her because I've been doing it for a while. I'm like, what is there to think about? Just either you're gonna do it or you don't, And she's like,
other times you don't see yourself in those roles. You know what I mean? And definitely this year, and probably 2020 has probably brought a lot of out of us that we hadn't thought was in there. We've shown ourselves that we can do a lot of things, can do without a lot of things, and have probably become our own Sheros in the process. That's for sure. But I'm glad that I said yes. I am. And so now it even has me thinking about, okay, I could probably write a book on my own, maybe. We'll see. Okay, so one of the things I wanted to kind of bring up is because I know what your role is, but you were kind of like our project coordinator. I know we've already kind of talked about that. But are you going to write a chapter as well?
I did not write a chapter. However, I wrote the introduction, and I brought all the pieces together because I wanted to make sure that the book made sense. I did not want it to just be a series of short stories, one after the other. I wanted it to have a rhythm of its own. So as I sat and I had everybody's chapter and I read through them after it went through edits, I read everybody's chapter. And as I was reading, it came to me how the pieces came together. So I subcategorized the chapters into 4 parts. And I decided whose chapter went into which subcategory, so that when the person is reading it, it flows. It is, instead of it just being a story after a story, it flows. And so the 4 subcategories are: one, that a Shero, because we're talking about becoming a Shero. No one is born that. We become that through our life experiences and through the challenges that we overcome and things that we experience in life. That's how we become a Shero. And so one of the factors that I read in reading, because keep in mind, they wrote the book, but it was interesting how so many of the stories mirrored each other. They may not have been the same circumstance, but some of the verbiage and the premise of what they shared was the same. So there were 3 ladies in our group who focused on their commitments and how their commitment to whatever is what allowed them to push through life's challenges and things of that nature. So that gave me the subcategory that Sheros are committed. any Shero, even Wonder Woman, she was committed to doing what she needed to, whatever the assignment was, she got it done, right? And then there were a few other ladies who talked about their path in life, for, how they kind of wondered which direction they should take in life, or they may have been going in one direction and then their life took a change and they realize now that they are actually in their lane, so to say. So I said Sheroes thrive in their lane. How many times do we try to do other things and we mimic what other women do because we feel like that's the thing that you're supposed to do and we're miserable? But it's not until we actually walk in our own true purpose and walk in our lane and use the gifts and talents assigned to us that we really thrive. And so that's one of the subcategories, is that Sheroes thrive in their lane. And then there were four ladies who talked about life happening, or how they dealt with life. When life gave them lemons, they made lemonade, so to say. And so that subcategory, it makes reference to Shiro's embrace the pivot. Instead of whining and complaining, not to say that you wouldn't have a moment, but it was just a moment. You had your moment and you got up and you did made the best of what the situation was. So Shiro's know how to pivot. So there are four ladies whose short stories fall in that category. And then the last category is Shiro's think differently. We had Dr. Cherie and Dr. Tracy talk about the necessity of a changed mind in various areas of life. You know, not just when you talk about thinking a new thought, your thoughts have to change as it pertains to relationships, as it pertains to careers, sometimes as it pertains to money. We have to, if we want to see improvement, we have to be willing to think a new thought. And so I made reference to the last category is Shiro's think differently. And so there are 3 or 4 chapters that fall under that. It's a total of 14 chapters in addition to my introduction. And we also have Whitney Barkley, who with Speaker Razi, who was a podcaster and marketing strategist, and she wrote the foreword. She was one of the very first to allow us to have a voice in talking about this project. And so y'all remember, she interviewed all of us in groups. And so she wrote the foreword for the book. And so the foreword was written by a woman. The book was coordinated by a woman. All the chapters were written by women, and even the book cover was designed by a woman. So, you know, we are definitely Sheroes through and through with this book, with this project.
I love it. Girl power. That's right. That's right. Well, what I would like to do again, I know we're going round robin, but if you will, just give me the title of your book. And if you want to do a 1 or 2 sentence, don't give it all away. We want them to buy the book. If you want to give us a 1 or 2 sentences, about what your book is about. So I'm going to go counterclockwise this time. Dr. Cherie, will you start?
Absolutely. So the title of my book is "What is Your Burning Desire?" And this particular chapter in the book is really focusing on unlearning habits and behaviors and thought patterns and just attributes that we've kind of picked up growing up. There's a saying that's going around: don't raise your children the way your parents raised you, and that has a lot to do with how their struggles. We are just now facing, I'm going to go ahead and claim that victory of Joe Biden and Kamala Harris, but we're facing now, a restoration of the soul of our country. And so we all know that when we're going through trauma in our lives, we are in survival mode. And so when we're in our trauma state, we have to behave different because we have to get those basic needs met, like Maslow talks about in his hierarchy of needs. So we're looking for survival. We got to feed ourselves. We need, we were thinking different. So there are different parts of our brain that are working, and rightfully so, and so in this particular chapter, we're looking at, okay, now that we're moving out of this survival mode, how can we really thrive? How can we really live? How can we live to our fullest potential? Sometimes we put off those things that we really want to do. We put off those things that we really want to accomplish because we've been in survival mode for so long. So that part of the chapter, it talks to us about that, and it's broken down into subcategories that allows us to actually make that shift, that mental, physiological, and psychological shift in our lives. So that's what is your burning desire is all about.
I love it. I love it. Munshiley, your title?
So my title is Barren Bridges, and it's really about either finding the path or creating the path in the midst of nothing. Because I found that on my particular Shero journey, that I don't always have all the pieces together in a nice, neat package to say, here, this is how you become the Shero. Just go this way. Sometimes you have to make a bridge. Sometimes you have to find a bridge. Or sometimes you have to take pieces that don't look like they fit and create something out of nothing to get to where you're supposed to be. And so my chapter is about how I discovered pieces and piecemealed my own bridge through the help of other people and inspiration and resources and etc. And then got to where I needed to be.
All right, I like it. Michelle, what's yours?
So my chapter is called Open Door. And I think that many times when we're going through life and we're going through our situations, there are opportunities that are afforded to us. Some greater, some smaller, some that we recognize, some that we allow to pass. And so I really just kind of share some of the life circumstances that I have had that for me have been open doors. How, and it's interesting how women have opened doors for me and have ushered me into places that in my mind, and I think you were talking about this a little bit earlier, Cherie, I didn't believe that I belonged. I didn't find value in myself. I didn't find that I thought in my mind that I was worthy to be in the places. But because of the favor of God, because of the open door, because of the people that God placed in my life at this particular times, he placed them in my life, and he touched them to open doors for me. And so because of that, I stand in a place that amazes me some days.
He is truly amazing. Don't be trying to have church on here, girl. No, just kidding. Because he truly is amazing. Oh my goodness. All right, Jelana, what's your title and a little bit about your book?
Cool. So the name of my title is Stay Connected. It's all about staying connected to the source. I talk about some different circumstances that I went through through my journey of entrepreneurship. I lost my mother, and it was a lot of other situations where just really trying to find my voice and being obedient to God. And I was realizing, and in the book, I talk about how, the revelations that you get from God is actually, it kind of ties into one of my other books that I published. It's actually, I call it Follow Your Breadcrumbs. It's actually breadcrumbs to the path that you're supposed to go on. And so really I explained in there, I actually reveal a lot of revelation that God showed me relating to entrepreneurship. So I know for a fact, it wasn't just for me, it's for others as well that's been called to entrepreneurship. And also talking about how entrepreneurship is a lifestyle, it's a ministry. And so that's what the book is, or that's what my chapter is about staying connected to the source.
Another one that'll preach. Because we know what our source is. I'm not going to go there today. All right, Kim.
Oh, okay. So my title is called Grace Unto You. And my chapter talks about, the grace of God. And we all know that grace is when God gives us what we don't deserve. And his mercy is when God gives us what we do deserve. And so I tie it into the grace of my mother. My mother was named Gracie. And so my mother passed away, but I also bring it all together. The grace of God and the grace of my mother is what's kept me through this entrepreneurial journey, because on this road that I've been on, it had to be the grace of God to keep me where I am when I came up from nothing. And so I tie the two graces together, which is the reason why I'm here.
Oh my goodness. Oh, I can't wait for this book to hit tomorrow. Well, I'll give you very quickly. My title is When You Feel Like a Fraud. I'll say it again. When you feel like a fraud. And that
wow.
Basically that, kind of like Anissa said about the becoming the Shero title, is like it wouldn't leave me. I kept hearing it. And I'm like, because I was trying to think, a better title. She was like, think about your life and how you became an entrepreneur, what inspired you when you feel like a fraud. I'm like, but God, that that doesn't seem to go with the subject matter, but it wouldn't go away. So I'm like, okay, I need to stick with what I said. And yeah, you kind of see some of the things, but I will give you a little bit. Basically, all the right things to do, all the things to say, you know about the SMART goals, you know about all the things, writing out your list and blah 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 blah. But yet and still 2 hours later, you're still sitting on the couch with your phone in your hand, or you haven't done hardly anything on your checklist. All your to-do items are from yesterday because you didn't do anything. Yeah, I won't keep going down that road. You know what to do. You sound good on the conference call. Yeah, I'm talking about myself. Even though I'm doing what I need to do, I'm not doing it to the extent that I think it needs to be done. But again, won't give it away. Just kind of that process that I went through on the book. I think you will be um, encouraged. Let me put it that way. I think you'll be encouraged by the chapter, and not just mine, but everybody's chapter. We have all gone through some things, and I think we're going to help each other, and not just us, but other women who are listening in tonight on the broadcast. Broadcast, okay, speaking into being. Well, listen on this on our event tonight, Sherry's World Presents, and yeah, I believe we're going to be encouraged to keep moving forward. So there is one thing I like to do before I get to a little bit more about the release on tomorrow. Tomorrow is Veterans Day, and one of my personal Sheros is on this call. Miss G.J. Nicholson, who we lovingly call Jean. She is a veteran of the Air Force. And I am just happy to have her on here tonight. She is definitely a Shero. She runs several businesses. She knows how to put things together. And she'll say, girl, please, I just kind of went here and went there and just put it together. But she doesn't understand the way she puts things together. It makes you feel empowered. It makes you feel good about yourself. It makes you just want to keep going. And I know she wasn't expecting this tonight, but I just wanted to recognize her not only as a veteran, as a female veteran, but also as a Shero in my life and other people's lives. We love you, Jean. All right. So I wanted to
Cheryl, you're muted. Your mute went on somehow.
oh my goodness, what was the last thing you heard?
When you transition from saying congrats, I mean,
Oh, okay,
recognizing things.
good. So I just want to make sure I hadn't gone a long, long time. So really, this is to you and this, with everything that has happened this year. Could you have imagined how significant this release would be for such a time as this? I mean, could you really? I mean, I don't want to say it's kismet, even though it could be.
You know,
Really being a part of God's plan is kind of how I feel.
when
Being
I
part of God's plan.
not at the time. Well, when the idea came to me the way it did in the middle of the night, it wasn't like I was thinking about writing an anthology and I just needed the perfect thought, or the perfect title. And I researched anthologies and I didn't do any of that. It was like in the middle of the night, honestly. And that thought about the anthology and then becoming the Shero. And I wrote it down. I said this earlier because I did not want to forget it if I went back to sleep. Because sometimes it happens. So I understand why now because of now as everything progressed because the idea came to me in February. And I think I made my very first post like the latter part of February with hopes that we can get it kicked off by March. And then the response was so quick. I was like, oh wow, this happened. I mean, everybody's saying yes. And then I liked everybody who said yes. So that made it easier. So I didn't have to tell anyone no creatively. And so it all kind of it just everything flew, came into place. And even when we faced the obstacle, because it was right after that COVID hit. So now we were thrust in a lifestyle that we hadn't had to experience in the past. And some of us who are very we're not working from home and we're having a homeschool. So that caused I guess you could say threw a monkey wrench into it. But I was just determined. I was like, regardless, if we have to move the date back, the book will be written in 2020. Now fast forward, you know, um, I had some personal crises that happened in my life, all in the midst of all of this. And I'm like, okay, it's not going to be a distraction. And I'm mature enough to know that usually when you're on the road to something that's going to make an impact is when all very interesting things come into play. You know what I'm saying? So COVID came into play, and health challenges came into play, and this came into play. It was a whole lot that could have been a distraction, but it did. And I was not discouraged, but I was like, oh, I gotta extend this thing out another 30 days, to make sure, because I didn't want to just rush it and for it to be just thrown together. I still wanted it to be a quality product, as best that we could, with who we're working with. And then of course now it's election time, and I'm talking to the publisher, and she's like, Anissa, we don't launch books in the midst of a campaign series. I'm like, oh, okay. So do we need to wait till after the election? She says, yes, I would recommend you do that. And then she says, but make sure it's before Thanksgiving too, because you don't want to get caught up in the holiday season. So I'm like, what? So we chose Veterans Day for the launch, but then who would have known that in February we would have a vice president elect that's a female? You follow what I'm saying? I mean, what? Who would have thunk it? As my mama would say, who would have thunk it? So I never would have seen. I didn't see all of this when I woke up in February and wrote the title down. I did not, but I knew that because the idea came to me and how everything just fell into place, that it had to be something bigger than myself involved. Yeah.
Amen, amen, amen. Oh my God. Because when I was thinking about it, like, wow, we couldn't have done this. I mean, we couldn't have planned this scenario. We really couldn't have put that together ourselves. So yeah. Thank you for being obedient. And I guess we should say that for ourselves. Thank us for being obedient and following that call. So I guess we get to the good meat and potatoes. How can we get the book?
Tomorrow, we start our pre-sales tomorrow. We've got two things going on simultaneously starting tomorrow. This book is a bestseller. It's a bestseller. So we gave ourselves, thanks to our publisher, a 72-hour game plan, a 72-hour window to start our bestseller campaign. So our publishing team is working, in the back office, behind the scenes, doing what they do. So the purchase of the ebook of 99¢, as a matter of fact, while we've been on this call, she sent me the link, you guys. So I'll be forwarding it to everybody, because we're going to kick this thing off first thing in the morning. So we've got the ebook link. Everybody can purchase the ebook for 99¢. Okay. However, look, as they say in the commercials, but wait, that's not all. When you purchase the ebook within this 72-hour window, we as the team, the Becoming the Shero team, authors and co-authors alike, will be extending an opportunity for our supporters to purchase not only the paperback book, but to also receive a Becoming the Shero 90-day journal for only $24.99. So, but they have to buy the ebook first. So when they purchase the ebook, they have to show proof of purchase to whoever their friend is, so that they can then go ahead and secure their autographed copy, or the paperback copy, along with the journal, which will be delivered at a later date. Okay, but that's going to be Wednesday. It kicks off tomorrow morning, Thursday and Friday. Now listen, they got to act now. As soon as they see the link, don't procrastinate, don't delay, don't think about it, pray about it, just do it. As they say, as Nike says, just do it. Because after Friday, if they make a decision later in the month to make their purchase, they will pay full price for the book, and they will pay full price for the ebook, and it will not be 99¢. Okay. So yes, everything kicks off tomorrow, and I'm so excited. Teresa Hawley Howard is the publisher. She has a great reputation of assisting women becoming bestsellers. I've worked with her on previous projects, and she partners with my publishing mentor, and that's just her cup of tea. That's her strength. And so she says, Anissa, we're on ready. Here's your link, and we'll be working. And so she's working, we're working, and I have no doubt in my mind we'll hit bestseller. She'll communicate that to me once we attain the status, and I'll make sure I send it out to you guys. So I'm excited, and I'm appreciative to every person in our family. They're going to purchase the ebook, and they're going to take advantage of the special offer, and they're going to get some for Christmas gifts as well. I'm so thankful that they're going to do that as well.
Thank you for speaking that into being. Yes, ma'am. They're going to support us. Do you want me to give a sneak peek of the announcement or just wait till in the morning?
You know what? Let's wait till in the morning. Let's give them
Okay.
something to think about. Yeah, we gave them a. They've seen the imagery, so we'll just wait. We'll just wait because we don't have the link anyway, so they'll just be seeing the picture and be twiddling their thumbs till they get the link.
All right. Well, I know travel is still questionable in some ways, even though I have traveled down to Pensacola Beach myself. But with that being said, will there be a virtual tour of sorts since we can't do a physical tour?
Yes, there will be a virtual tour. They most certainly will. We're gonna get that scheduled. We've already been kind of sort of on a virtual tour already. We toured to Wichita, Kansas the other day, thanks to Michelle Van,
Yeah.
and then we're here in Pensacola, Florida with you, thanks to Zoom, right? And then, but no, we do plan a virtual. Listen, we're planning a live and living color tour as soon as
We
the
can do
release.
it.
We're going somewhere. We have to go to the Virgin Islands and stay in Jolana's house. All of us bring our
Yeah.
bunk bed, but no, we will have a virtual tour once the book is out. We're working with that. It's holiday time, so we want to get it done before we get caught up in all the Christmas festivities. We really would like to, but just stay tuned. Yeah, just stay tuned. We got to get through this bestseller campaign and get all of that done, and then we'll go from there.
Awesome. Awesome. Well, any last words anybody wants to say, wants to throw out there?
I just want to say, don't quit.
Right.
It's a yes, it's a poem. It's part of that poem. It talks about if you have to rest, rest if you must, but do not quit. Like, do not quit. If you gotta stop for a minute, stop, but get back up. That's all I gotta say.
I love it. I
Yes.
love it.
Sherry, thanks for the opportunity to come on and just give us the another chance to be able to share. But I think one of the things when you think about a Shero, when you think about women, when you think about entrepreneurship, it's really just about the synergy that we all bring together. And so if we can not worry about who gets the credit, if we cannot worry about who gets the money, if we cannot worry about all of those things, and we can really just pull together, we can all get everything it is that we need to get. When we are on one accord, when we are pushing towards one goal, God will make sure that we are all blessed in the way that we need to be blessed. It has been a pleasure speaking with you and being with the other ladies, but just being able to work through this project and realizing that we are all Sheroes in our own little corner of the world.
Amen. And thank you. I appreciate that. Anyone else? Will there be one? No, it's kidding. That's the church girl coming out again. Well, I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up. Thank you guys again so much for joining us for Sherry's World Presents Becoming the Shero. You've heard the instructions of how you can get your book on tomorrow. So please, whoever you're with, friends with, colleagues with, whatever, support them, support us, help us to get the word out. I know you know someone who can use some encouragement. I know you know someone who is in business who needs the principles that will come out through these chapters. And I know you know someone who probably just, needs to know they are worth it. They're worthy. They can do this. They can be an entrepreneur. Just be
And,
themselves,
and Sherry, here's the thing. The content of the book, all of us that are participants are entrepreneurs, but the messages apply to every woman, whether she's a young girl as a teenager in college, or if she's a mother or a more mature woman. It applies to all women, no matter what stage they are in life and what occupation or profession they chose. It's
Absolutely.
stories about everyday women that everybody can relate to.
I definitely agree with you on that, which is why I mentioned the mothers earlier, because they are the CEOs of their home. So, yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that, though. I appreciate that. This is not just for business women. This is for every woman. I'm every woman. No, I was kidding. But anyway, I know we should make that our theme song for the book. But anyway, again, thank you guys. I appreciate you being here with us tonight. Just to do a little housekeeping before we end, our next Sherry's World Presents will be featuring, Timothy Obon of True Vine Publishing. He will talk about his publishing company, how you can put your memoirs together, recipes, whatever it may be, whatever you need to publish. He will help you with that process and how you can also become a published author in your own right. And then just mark your calendars. December 8th will be the one. December 8th and December 22nd will be our 2 dates in December. And just to give you a sneak peek, I hope it will be Danielle McGee of Women Black Businesses. That's her company. But she also has Black People Making Moves Nashville. So that's December 8th. I hope that I'll be able to feature her. And then December 22nd will be Terrence Pennington, who he is known as the Fat Loss Online Expert. And he'll talk about his weight loss journey, how he's been able to keep it off. I think it's over 100 pounds, and how he was able to really have a better relationship with food, how he was able to do exercise. I mean, he's going to talk about all of it, which will be timely because it'll be right during the holidays and when we're making those New Year's resolutions that we break 3 days later. No, just kidding. We're not going to break them this time. We're going to get our weight loss goals together and we're going to do what we need to do. So that's kind of takes us through the end of the year. So stay tuned. 7:15 p.m. Central. Our next one is November 24th, and I look forward to seeing you there. Thank you so much. And thank you for coming to Sherry's World. Bye.